Those warm pink walls. Empty Without My Gentle Giant by Kayla Stevenson. Dad was the man who raised me to be the best that I could be, a man who was once full of courage, happiness, pain, and hidden secrets. If I ever had another chance to speak to the other part of my heart, I know what I would say. Sometimes I just imagine he is here with me, sitting on the foot of my bed, getting ready to tuck me in for the night. Like the good old days, I would see him right before I closed my eyes, then again when he woke me up every morning. I was awoken by the smell of cigarette and the sound of Fox 8 News on TV. I remember turning over on the couch and saying, "Good morning, Dad," then him smiling back at me. Dad, I haven't been able to talk to you in quite some time, so it would be more than nice just to hear you say my name one more time. I wish you could be here to see me grow into the woman you would want me to be. I would love to have your helpful opinions and warm company to get through long days and hard weeks. These 7 years have been rough without you, the man I had always looked up to, the face I saw when I woke up in the morning. Since you've been gone, I have thought a lot about you and reminisced about all of our memories. I couldn't imagine ever forgetting about the times we had. You helped me become who I am and influenced me to be different. People say I'm a little strange, but maybe I'm just a little unique. You would always say, be a leader, not a follower, and always do what I thought was right. As you know, my 17th birthday has just passed, and all I wanted was one gift that was just for you. I'm not really sure how you feel about Body Heart, but on the left side of my ribs I got a tattoo that reads, "He lived and laughed and loved and laughed." That is how I saw you live your life. You did exactly that and made your life the best it could be. I do wish you could have stayed a lot longer, but it was your time to go and I will see you soon. Dad was a wise and loving man whom I wish my future children could meet. Maybe not always fair, but made his life decisions as he went. He was the type to take no attitude, but to love like a gentle giant. He would give me money if I made my own sandwich. Not a normal way to encourage your child to do things for themselves, but his method had worked. Dad would also pay me to do little things for him, like rub his feet. Also, if he would borrow my money, then he would pay me interest. I remember he would always go to the drive-thru down the street and pick me up beef jerky and Slim Jims, which were my favorite. Dad would create the biggest smile on my face when he would bring home my surprise. He helped me with homework, cuddled me throughout the day, and talked to me as if an 8-year-old had an important voice. Being spoiled is the life, but when it came to discipline, he knew exactly what he was doing. Dad was my gentle giant, until something went absolutely wrong. He kept his cool very well, but I remember times that I had done too much wrong where he couldn't keep in the anger any longer. Even in his anger, I still felt so much love and admiration for this man. This is Dad, holding his lit cigarette, watching Fox 8 News, glancing over as I wake up. Looking over at me with a smile, he says, "There's breakfast in the kitchen," then glancing back to his morning news. He sits on the couch with the curtains completely open to allow the hot, bright sun cover the living room walls. The pink walls collect the warmth of the room as the large TV booms Bai's facts into his shiny bald head. As I lay here every morning, I admire him as I hear every inhale he takes of the toxic cigarette, then watch the cloud of smoke cover his entire profile. The cigarette burns between his fingers as I feel the smoke enter my nose, stuffing up my sinuses. Dad looks over while I admire our time together and says, "Please go eat now, or go get a drink." He would never want me to prolong my feasting. Dad had always feared me becoming dehydrated and sick. It was an early Thanksgiving morning when Mom was almost done cooking her large feast. My siblings and I were getting ready to go to Grandma's house, but we were extremely hungry. My sister had already called her mom to see if we could eat, but of course she said no. While looking through the kitchen, Dad came in telling us to eat the food. Of course, being the man he was, he didn't care if she said no. We were hungry, and it was food for us to eat. He started to make our plates. "Come on, you guys are going to eat before leaving." Then on the other hand, Mom was angry on the phone, saying, "No, they will eat at their grandmother's." This had caused an argument, and I felt bad because we knew we shouldn't have let him get our food, but his personality was too caring and persuading. With thoughts of a deceased person, there comes good and bad memories. Some people are afraid to mention the bad memories, but Mom had positive and negative times with Dad. The man whom my mom remembers was mostly funny. He was always trying to make her laugh, and it had worked. She had said, "He made me laugh all the time. He was funny, caring, secretive, and mean at times, but only to me." Before their marriage, Dad was always loving and they had the time of their lives until they had children. As we grew up and one came after another, something had changed between them. She remembers. He was mean sometimes, but got meaner after he started taking heavier drugs in our divorce. He would never do it around anyone else, so none of you ever believed me. It's sad to think of life being this way for someone, but she still loved him, but the drugs had gotten annoying and too much. Dad wouldn't usually go out to dinner with us as a family, but I'd never pay attention to it. It had never been thought about until recently. Mom remembers a specific time when he actually went out to eat with the family at Hometown Buffet before it closed down. It was the only time he had done so, but I think it may have been worth it. Mom remembered. He said he would never go out in public with me because I'm embarrassing. He said he wouldn't go anywhere with me. Dad wouldn't always make her feel good about herself, and he knew exactly what he was doing. She continues. We all went out, even Grandma. She was the one who made him go with us. She had said, "How do you know we will embarrass you? Just come, and if we do, then never come again." They had reached the restaurant and then sat and ate. Dad got all of us children food, then helped feed us. We all patiently sat and talked until all 7 were completely finished with the buffet. Mom was surprised when, 2 days later, Dad had told her that dinner was really nice. He wasn't embarrassed, so he apologized for assuming such a thing. He said to her, "I will come again," but he never did. In front of us children, our parents were civil and friendly to each other when nothing was wrong. Behind closed doors, along with the love, came some force and pain. Mom had said that he wasn't really nice to her at all. Dad was a shorter and stocky-built man with a disabled leg. He was much bigger than Mom and kind of scary, so he used that as an advantage. He would mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically abuse her. Dad would lower her self-confidence and tell her what she could and couldn't do. He didn't want anyone to know, and of course, Mom would not tell an 8-year-old about her pain. She did tell others, but no one had believed her. It is still hard to imagine any of the abuse that took place because that wasn't the man that anyone had known. I know this man who is dear to my heart. Suddenly one day it was all torn apart. This man taught me everything that I needed to know, but I never really listened until he had to go. He gave me love and touched my life. It's all over now. He no longer has to fight. He tried to teach me right from wrong. The day he left, I wasn't that strong. He is gone now. It is hard to believe. This man is my dad, who I will never see. But I will see him again. This I know. The day will come when it's time for me to go. So I'll hold him dear and close to my heart, because the day we meet, I know, will never be torn apart. This poem by Desiree Khan always comforts me when I think of my own father. Every time I read it, I am able to relate to the words that she says. No other piece of work could describe what is felt about his death better than this does. I think of the days that Dad would lecture me and I just roll my eyes, but today I would do anything to hear those lectures again. I'd do anything to see him correct my errors or to straight up say I was wrong for what I did. Dad was always in and out of the house and never in one place. He went everywhere and did everything, sometimes coming home for the night or staying where he was. It wasn't a surprise to see him gone because it happened often. Dad had done drugs and drank alcohol often, but never really did the drugs around me. Towards the end of his life, his heart condition had gotten worse and couldn't handle the power of the drugs he was taking. The last time my siblings and I saw him, we didn't know it was going to be the last. Dad said goodbye before he left, and it was nothing to me. He was leaving again and would be back soon. What I hadn't known was that he was going to die a few nights later. When Dad left, it wasn't easy for anyone to cope. The drugs and heart condition had taken over. He spent his last moments alone in a hospital room. No one was ready or prepared for him to go. The thought and reality of him never swooping in late at night killed my inner self. I wasn't the same anymore. I had become a 10-year-old girl who always asked, why wasn't it me who had to die? And to this day, I sometimes ask that same question, but I actually realize now that it was Dad's time and he was needed somewhere else. Those pink walls didn't shine like they used to. The smell of stale cigarette smoke started to fade away, along with the sound of his voice saying, "Good morning, there's breakfast in there." Dad wasn't here anymore to make sure I had eaten enough or that I wasn't ever thirsty. The man with a loving soul and comfy lap was now just a presence that was in the air. Things change when you lose anyone really close to your heart, but I'd give anything to be in that living room watching Fox 8 laying there with my dad, puffing on a cigarette, surrounded by those warm walls. I am not physically in that house anymore, but a part of me was forever left there. My love for him still lives on, but my heart yearns for the love that he can no longer give to me.